Welcome to this week's episode of the 1 Second of Strength podcast. I hope you're doing well wherever you're at. Today it's me, myself, and I've got, as always, Putter, the dog, my golden retriever, who is right here by my side. I wish he could say something. Don't you just think that dogs have so much on their mind, but they won't say it? But today I've got a lot on my mind. And first of all, if you haven't done so already, if you could leave a rating and review for the show wherever you're listening to this. It just takes 1 second, that little second of strength, to just pause this, go and leave a rating and review. Helps me out a lot, but ultimately it helps get this message out to more people. But today, I've got a lot on my mind, and really what I'm thinking about is the stories we tell ourselves, the things that we keep telling ourselves in the past that have reinforced these beliefs in us that tell us that we're not enough. And if you're struggling right now, and maybe you've got symptoms of depression, or maybe you've been diagnosed with depression, maybe you've got anxiety, maybe you've got some sort of pain, some sort of struggle that you're dealing with. And the reality is that a lot of us are dealing with past traumas in our lives. A lot of us are dealing with things that are unfortunate circumstances that have led us to where we're at. Some of those have been self-induced, some of those have not been self-induced. But the reality is that we're dealing with things in our past that make it hard for us to move forward in our future. But today, what's on my mind really is I think that moving forward is critical. At the end of the day, nobody lives in the past. Nobody lives in the past. And quite frankly, if you're struggling with anxiety, you don't live in the future either. You live in the now. You live in this moment, but this moment is where we build the future that we want. This moment is where we create the future we want to live. And too many of us are tying our now to the past and limiting our potential for our future. We are tying everything that's happened to us, and we've decided that we are a certain person, we're a certain way because of the things that have happened to us in our life, and we've got to stop. We've got to stop limiting our growth, limiting our future, limiting our potential because of the things that happened to us in the past. And I'm not discounting what those things are, because I know they're real. I know that things have happened to you in your past, and things have happened to me in my past too. But the reality is, if you're struggling right now with sadness and depression and these symptoms, and again, I'm not downplaying, I know it's real. But what I'm saying is that if you're struggling right now today, it's because we are tying our self-worth and lowering who we are, and it's keeping us stuck where we're at. And so if you want to move forward, if you want to move on, if you want to grow and overcome the challenges that you faced in your past so that you can strengthen your present to move forward towards your future, then it starts with increasing your self-worth. It starts with recognizing your value. And part of that, the first thing you've got to do is we've just got to accept. We've got to accept where we are. Because too many of us, when we live in the past, we don't accept where we're at. We just root ourselves where we were before. And when we've rooted ourselves in the past and we're not willing to deal with it in our present, we really can't move forward. So where are you now? Accept it. But here's the thing. Self-worth is accepting who you are now, or where you've been, or the things that have happened, but not letting it limit who you can become. And so if you think about that, I want you to just say these words out loud. I am still worthy of my love. I am worthy of happiness. I am still incredible. I still love me. I still value me. Regardless of what's happened, accept where you're at and love yourself through it. Don't discount your worth because of something that happened in your past. Don't discount who you are or who you can become because of something that happened in your past. Accept it, recognize it, and then use it as a springboard to move forward, because that thing that happened in your past, that story that happened to you, well, that's the story that somebody else needs to hear in their life to move forward. Those failures, those past things that have created pain in your life, they're not failures. They're moments where you get to learn from and move on, right? Those moments are now your story, and your story can help you grow, help you become. The question is, are you going to embrace it and move forward? But what happens, and I think the pain, and I think if I really boil down this episode to one certain thing, it's we keep tying our self-worth to a past story about ourselves, and that past story is influencing everything in our life. When we think thoughts of the past, the traumas, the pains, and we internalize that as who we are, well, that impacts our behaviors. It impacts our experiences, and those experiences impact our emotions. And now we are just in a downward spiral of pain rooted in our past instead of what we can become in our future. And that hope and that belief in what you can become in your future has to start with new thoughts. We've got to train our brain to move forward. And so I think there's a very simple way to do this. When I think about training your brain, this is what it is. First, you want to recognize that trigger. What is the trigger that is causing you to spiral back to your past? What is it? Maybe it's someone that you're, in your life. Maybe it's a place. Maybe it's, a certain thought, or, something is triggering you. What is that trigger? So that's the first thing. If we want to retrain our brain, train our brain to move forward, train our brain to have new thoughts, so that we can have new behaviors and experiences and new emotions and increase the positivity in our life so we can move forward and have a great, phenomenal life, because our life is not what we were. Our life is what we can become, right? And so what is the trigger? What is causing you to feel that and have that emotion in your life? So that's the first thing. The second thing is we have to have a recognition. Recognize that this is an opportunity to flip, to switch, to move forward. I think that sometimes we look at our past and we look at those experiences and those traumas, and we don't recognize them as an opportunity. We just internalize them as a defeat. We internalize them as we're not good enough, we can't overcome, we will never be good enough. And the reality is those past things that have happened to you, that is your story. And it's a recognition that you can move forward in an incredible way. So once we do that, we realize the trigger, and then we recognize that this is an opportunity for our future, then we take an immediate action without hesitation. Because what happens is, if we have been rooting ourselves in a lack of self-worth because of the stories we've been telling ourselves, then we are hesitating the future that we deserve. We are hesitating making decisions because we don't feel like we're good enough, or we don't feel like we're worthy enough of that future. That stops now. We take immediate action, because that action is what is going to help you move forward. And then it's going to be building blocks to move forward in your life. So, trigger, recognize that it's an opportunity. Take immediate, take that action, right? And then we want to recognize an immediate achievement. Once you have taken the action, immediately reward yourself. We want to reward those positive actions with goodness, right? And it might just be, looking yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you did it, great job. It might be, hey, if it's a bigger thing, maybe you're buying yourself something, or a treat, or you're taking a break for a few minutes and you're recognizing in that moment the achievement that you've had. So immediate achievement. And then 5, this is the neuroplastic reinforcement. And when we do this, we're training the brain, because when actions equal reward, it then strengthens the neural pathways in your life to create a consistent habit loop. And so if you think about that, you've had negative thoughts about your past, we are going to immediately recognize the trigger. We're going to recognize that it's an opportunity to move forward. We're going to take immediate action, and then we're going to give ourselves an immediate achievement. And that is the neuroplastic reinforcement that we have. That is training your brain for positivity. That is training your brain for the future, because what can't happen anymore, and I hope you're listening to this, what cannot happen anymore is that you cannot hold yourself hostage because of the things that happened in your past, the traumas, the experiences, the negativity, the challenges you faced, and they're real. But you can no longer hold yourself hostage and limit your growth and limit your potential because of a past version of you that the current version of you shouldn't even recognize anymore. It's time to stand up, train your brain, and move on. It's time to start thinking new thoughts that are positive, and we do that by positive reinforcement of the neural pathways. Train your brain for the next version of you. Train your brain for the future. Train your brain for all the good things that are going to come your way, and stop holding yourself hostage for the bad things. And I promise, when you start to do that, and this is not like a one-time fix-all type of a thing. This is one of those things that we have got to continually reinforce in our brain. And when we do that, the next time you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to go, man, I don't even recognize this happy person anymore. I don't even recognize who this is. But it takes constant and consistent practice to train your brain to walk away from the past and into your future. I hope this helps you today. Share it with one other person. I don't know who needs this. It was just something that really was on my heart this morning because I don't know. I'm just in a state of mind where I think that the future is so important, and you've got to create the future that you want to live in instead of slipping into the future that you've already lived. That's different, and we don't want that anymore. So I hope this helps you today. Share it with one other person. It's the only way we can help a bunch of people, which is my goal. I want to help all the people that are out there, whether you're a teenager, you're a mom. And if you haven't done so already, leave a rating and review for the show. It helps me a ton if you do that. And you can always also just share this, take a screenshot and share this episode on your Instagram stories and tag me at Real Tanner Clark. So you're awesome. I'm so grateful for you. Let's start training our brain to move forward because the future you deserves that. And I'll leave you the same way I always leave you. Go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.